What's up, LC heads? So the big question right now is, are counter builds viable? Especially for this girl. So here she is, on God mode, in a room full of these assholes. We're waiting for her to counter. Auto attack is off. Anytime now. We should probably heal a little bit, right? Dual wield, no problem healing. And we did charge up our kit a little bit while we waited for these assholes. Now that our health's back up, we can take a couple more hits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our counter. We'll heal up a little bit. We're taking about 6 attacks. I'm sorry, 4 through 6 attacks before our counter activates. I know, that doesn't sound bad, right? The problem is, we are locked into a 4-star accessory in order to do that. You guys can run this yourself, you can do the math yourself, but without the accessory that increases our chance to counter, which is like a 4-star accessory, it's the golden something, right? Without that, unfortunately, with the testing that I did, counter was only activating once every 10 to 15 hits. Think about that. That's half of this girl's ability kit locked behind an ability that's only going to proc every 10th time that you're hit. Now this is against normal mobs. Maybe against bosses they increase her chance, but I doubt it. It just looks like against bosses she can counter magic attacks, but she probably still has the same chance to counter, right? So, which means I wouldn't count on that at all unless I'm willing to eat up an accessory slot in my inventory on a 4-star item that increases my chance to counter. Also, we're eating up 2 SC because we did have to give this girl an axe. Why? Because axes have counter stuff on them. Big surprise, right? Counter was originally like an axe thing. The blue-bearded pirate has some kind of counter shenanigan he can do, and he's got an axe. We have the lapis axe, which gives counter damage plus 75%, so why not? The gold crown, when physically attacked, chance to activate counter. This is literally doubling her chance, okay? Either countering once every 10 hits, down to every 5 hits. That's a big deal when so much of this girl's kit is locked away behind counter. Now, maybe there's some other gear. I went through like everything, but this is all I could find that affects counter on my account. The gold crown and the lapis axe. Why didn't they give her a paid item that increases your counter chance so that, you know, it could be there instead of the gold crown? Because the gold crown is really not a good item. We have her paid gear. Kind of looks worthless to me on its own because it is do more damage with counter, but counter has to proc to actually do that. And the other one is take less damage while you're countering. Counter actually has to proc while you're doing that. So they're like both of her paid items. I feel like they did this wrong. Instead of that, one of her paid items should increase your actual chance to counter, because it can be a viable thing. I'm looking at it, but not when when you have to jump through these hoops to make a character that can actually throw up that counter once in a while. Like, here we go. We're going to take some attacks. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. There we go. So on the 5th, we countered. We countered again. We countered again. That's some luck. We countered again. That is some luck. That's the most active countering I have seen this whole testing. So we hit the counter lotto there. We countered like 3 times in a row. There's another counter, 1, 2, 3. So we're taking like 4 or 5 hits on average to counter. This literally doubles. It goes to 10, 15 hits if you do not have that accessory equipped. So I figured, why not give her an axe for 2 more SC? I didn't see any buffs to weapons in her kit innately. So it's not like I'm giving up some kind of crazy sword boost because I'm using an axe. She still has the Trisla pistol because she is locked into that element. So why not give her a way to, get out of being locked into that? But here we go. 1, 2, 3, and a counter. 1 and a counter. See, that's acceptable. Again, but at the cost of a crappy accessory item. And at the cost of, this is making her paid gear look like trash. I'm sorry, this is making her paid gear look like trash. One of her paid items should increase your chance of counter. We don't have anything else that does that effectively, other than like this 4-star accessory that is a big drag to have to equip. We'll look at her again. We will look at her again. Funny enough, she's clearing this much easier now with a higher with a higher counter chance. This level becomes much easier for her to clear. So it shows that you can build up her counter, right? But you have to have something to increase her counter chance, or it is just absolutely worthless. So we will see. We'll look at her paid gear again. I don't want to misspeak on that. Maybe one of those items actually increases counter chance, but I don't think so. I don't think so. And maybe there's other items that I just don't have. I don't think there's a sword that has counter on it. I don't think. I would have grabbed that stuff up along the way if I would have seen it. Just for the simple fact that I've always been interested in a counter build. But it has to actually work, right? Could counter work for Arena? Not if it only procs 1 every 10 hits. Your team's going to get demolished by the time you proc something like that, and you won't have a team there left to make a play. If you could get counter to proc on the first 4 hits, you might actually be able to counter something. So that's kind of a big difference. It's kind of a big difference. And again, now maybe they'll add something in the future that increases counter chance or something, and we can stack that on top of this, and oh boy, this is going to be tricky. Arcanist, a medic, and a medic. Well, we could try. We're going to get smoked here, and then we will go check her gear again. Because after running her, I'm glad I chose the accessory for the other character. Right? Because it really doesn't really look like her gear is really going to help her actually proc what she wants to. It also doesn't say anywhere that her chance of proccing counter is increased against a boss. So you probably still have the same rate against a boss. So I would still want to, if I was going to try to counter a boss, I would still want to equip this 4-star accessory, right? Because it's the difference between a boss hitting me 10 times and me countering back once, or a boss hitting me like 4 times and me countering back. And this is just reflected off of what I've actually seen. I've ran her a few times without anything to actually help the counter chance. And right off rip, I wasn't seeing it at all. I think I got hit almost 20 times, and I just was like, no, that's got to be bad luck. And then I started counting again, We did get to like 9 or 10, and then we got like 9 or 10 hits, and then we went to 14. On average, it was around 10. Like, it was pretty clear as day to see. On average, every 10 hits will proc 1 counter. And I was just like, damn, I'm watching this character go down the toilet, because I'm like, that's just not enough. That is just not enough to lock 50 SC behind something like that that's going to proc once every 10 hits. So it's like, you know what, before I completely throw this character away, I got to be able to find something. Like, I think that was a counter right there from one of them smacking me. Too bad I can't counter magic. That'd be dope. It's crazy. Oh no, I was going to say we actually might somewhat have a shot here if we can just keep pinning these bastards and retaliating here and there. But now we got stunned, and we can't keep the pressure up on this mage. That's going to be it. That's it. It's a good run, though. We can't counter when we're stunned. That'd be cool. It would actually be really cool if she starts countering when she's stunned. Yeah, we want to get the Arcanist, though. Oh, come on. Proud Force healing. We need that in our rice. We need that so bad. Did one of them die? There's no way. We actually killed one of these guys? No, I was about to say, yeah, he's standing off in the corner over there, being a bastard. Who do we got target? Yeah, the Arcanist. I'm actually surprised we kind of made a comeback there for a second. They stun us one more time, though. We about to be the #1 stunner. Like, we about to be dead from that shit. On the other hand, I will still give her S4 props. How quick it charges, how fast you can just throw that thing off left and right. Right. Go ahead, guys. Try to hit me. I'd actually like that counter to go off. There we go. 1, 2. Thing is, when you're tapping the attack button, you really don't know if you just attacked or countered. Obviously, I had to go and turn this girl's basic attack off. So when I let go of the button, I'm just standing there in front of them. That is how I am keeping track of how many counters this girl actually does. And it's pretty easy to count how many times she's hit physically before she drops a counter. So, yeah, we went from 10 down to 5. And that's with this one item. Not a very good item. I was going to say, like, I could have sworn we had some kind of minor item that adds to counter, at least a little bit. Now, maybe there's other items, hopefully there is, that I'm missing, because I'll actually go after them if that's the case. I don't think there is, but it'd be a nice surprise if there was. Leave me a comment, let me know if there's any counter items that I'm missing. But this is at least a start. To me, this is enough to make this character not straight trash, right? Like, 1 out of every 10 hits, no, that's unacceptable. 1 out of 4, okay, we can work with that. We can do something with that. It's like that big of a difference. It's pretty much like actually getting to activate 50 SC of your abilities or not. It's that big of a difference, right? It could actually pay out. We could actually somehow win. Just from these adjustments that we've made. Not going to hold my breath here because, like I said, they could stun us right now and that would be it. But it would be nice to actually clear this on Nightmare. Just because we adjusted her counter build. It is substantially more damage when she does counter. Like, you know, this basic attack is hitting for hundreds. When she counters, they're taking like some serious damage though. It really reflected in the soldiers that I was fighting. Yo, and her kit is pretty freaking awesome. I'm noticing she stuns a lot. she'd be stunning a lot of people. I don't know if that's just, from the overwhelming amount of attacks she's given out. It is what it is. All right, we'll start focusing these fools. No haste. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, man, instead of giving her more counter, if you're not going to increase her counter chance behind her paid gear, if you're not going to increase its chance, why not then just give haste? Give out abilities that are going to save us SC. So if you want to build her, just for damage, and you want to forget about counter because it's not worth it to you to only be able to use counter once every 10 times you're hit, maybe you could overlook that and be like, well, I'll just go for damage. Well, haste is something that's going to help, and if you don't have that in your items or built in, you're going to have to pay for that. So to me, personally, her paid gear is kind of looking more worthless and worthless. It's just 20 more percent and 20 more percent that you get to stack on top of counter going off. If counter went off every other hit, they may have a point, but counter goes off every 10 hits. It goes off every 5 hits if you equip a crappy accessory. That's 4 stars. So it's like, I don't know. Like I said, maybe, just maybe, there's some other counter gear, or maybe this will give them a reason to drop more counter gear, right? Nobody's arguing this girl's ability to do damage, but, her secondary counter thing, it may not be up to par where we want it to be. I feel like her counter should be going off the way that it is right now without the accessory. Or maybe if her paid accessory had increased counter, I would get that accessory right now and I would swap it out for this crappy 4-star one that doesn't do anything except give a chance to counter. And it seems to be doubling the chance. So I don't see anything in this girl's kit that's going to do that. And it's just a damn shame. I was even hoping... I hope they do something about it. I really do. It's like, why haven't we learned from the first time we had a problem like this? And make no mistake, the first time we had a problem with this was with the guard mechanic itself. Guard just would not proc enough. And this was fixed later on because characters came out that adjusted to it. Characters specializing for guard would come out and they would have an ability that increases their guard chance. And why not? They have so many abilities riding on proccing guard that why wouldn't they have a better chance of actually guarding? And it's like they've done the same thing. They've built a specialty character for counter, but they forgot to give her the ability to actually increase her chance of counter. So it's like the same damn thing all over again, except she's supposed to be spec'd for counter. So she should be walking in the door with something that actually increases her counter chance. Unless they've just forgot about that and they're trying to repeat this whole guard thing all over again. I don't know. This is crazy. So in case anybody was wondering how viable counter is, I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, because I'm still trying to figure out where I stand on it. Right? At least I'm actually, able to proc it now. I got no complaints about the damage in her kit. I think this is the last wave here. No, there's no way this girl just cleared this on God mode. This will be a first God mode clear for her if she did. I think there's one more wave though, and it's probably going to be all casters. She just won't be able to keep up. If it's all physical attack though, in this configuration, she might just be able to pull it off. Just because we are feeding that counter game of hers. Zing. That's cool. And here I was worried I spent too many resources building up the cat. And it's funny because the cat's actually absolutely freaking phenomenal. Effective healer and just so much damage. And it's earth damage, right? And the cat just looks cool. So, people are all over the board on this collab. A lot of people say Joker's the best. Some people say the cat's the best. I haven't heard anybody say that the part 2 characters are the best, but there might be someone out there. Okay, you know what? For the sake of maybe being able to beat the next map, we're going to try to charge up here with just our basic attack. Because there might be a chance that this is our first God clear. God solo clear with her. Without actually having to add SC to her and teach her new abilities. Just working with what we already got and reconfiguring a few things. Kid charging pretty good. I could only imagine how nice it would charge if we had haste on top of that. That would be really nice. Adis, you guys need to change her paid gear. Like, man, put haste on one of them and put counter chance on the other. I would still choose counter chance over chase. Haste. Blah. Yes, I would rather chase counter than haste. So here we go with our yellow glow. What is giving her that? Anyway, I don't have her paid gear. Oh, goody. Look at that. We might actually get to, I still have to target the healer, but we might actually get a chance to use our retaliate or our counter here. Cool. I let them just beat the crap out of me right here. She'll start countering. That's a counter right there. 1, 2, 3. No, I'm not just going to stand there. If they're bunched up, I'm going to drop some AoEs. Let's get rid of this healer first, and then we'll see. Okay, except, why aren't we targeting the healer? We should be locked on that Moth. Nice to get our hit points back. That highly spammable S1. Look at that, just over and over. Alright, we're fully healed. And off of that, we also charged our special. Alright. So we will get rid of that. And then we'll play around with our counter mechanic a little bit more, hopefully. Oh, damn, she is making a hot mess of them. And she's going to, just because there's so many of them, to do physical attacks and to proc counter. So, like in this counter is going to be great, right? Because there's 3 physical attackers. So it has been procking. I haven't been counting it because I'm also tapping the attack button. There it goes. It also shows when you're taking less damage while you're countering. That is cool. She also has a chance to get some damage reduction while she's using her skills. So something that Roland, I think, originally had. It's like while you're using your skills, you have a damage reduction. That I've always thought that was cool. Oh, here's our special. Why not? I mean, when she's using her kit, there's really not much chance to counter her anyway because she's just mashing everybody all over the damn place. Great hit counts, jumping around the place. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's it. We did get stunned, though. It looks like we're not going to get a chance to play with our counter anymore. Because I think that's going to be it. There's just too many of them. And this girl actually does have stun stun resist, stun nil, so even better. But what are you gonna do? Was a valiant run. The important thing is we actually got to see what's going on with counter. So let's take a look at her again. I'll go over the counter gear that's on her that's making her counter like this, right? Another good question is, why didn't they just give her equip axe? Why didn't they just make that one of her, because axes are counter weapons. There might be a hammer with counter on it, but I know axes are counter weapons because Bluebeard rocks an axe and he has counter in his kit. So why wouldn't she just be able to use axes? Why are they making us pay 2 SC to equip an axe? Right. They're making us pay for dual wield light mega drive. They're making us pay for dual wield. They're making us pay to equip an axe. They're making us pay for haste even. So the golden crown and the lapis axe javelin is what I'm rocking on her right now. Nobody was using the axe and nobody was using the crown, so no big deal. I also put a hunter's bandana on her. In case she can feint enemies or break them, she'll do 10% more damage. No big deal there. But the golden crown, I guess, is a big deal. I'm rocking this with 400 hit points. There's no stats on it. Just when physically attacked, chance to activate counter, doubles your chance. And honestly, if I had another golden crown, I would equip it instead of the hunting bandana. And then, of course, the Trisla pistol so that people can't use any light resistance against her kit. So this is how mine's looking right now. What do you guys think? Is counter worth it if it procs once every 5 hits? I don't think it's worth it if it procs once every 10. And that is what she comes with standard. Unless one of her paid gears... the rapier, light attack damage cap, 1500, light attack damage 10%. During counter, damage from enemies minus 20%. How about increase counter chance by 20%? Or increase counter chance by 10%? Fuck. So no, this isn't doing anything for us. The other accessory, this should have counter on it. Right? Battle start gives unit auto revive buff. Draw more enemy attention but become less likely to feint. So the feint thing there is cool, right? Counter damage plus 20%. That's counter damage. We need to change that to counter chance, right? Because both of these, this accessory and the other one, are riding on your chance to proc counter to get your 20% extra damage and to take 20% less chance, or take 20% less damage, right? But counter is not going to proc unless you're hit 10 times. Unless your other accessory slot is taken up by a 4-star accessory that's going to make counter proc once every 5 hits instead of 10. So if you're trying to do a counter build right now, it looks like you're stuck equipping a 4-star accessory, unless there's another one that I just didn't see. And I don't see anything that increases counter chance in any weapons that I've seen. I've looked through all my guns, my swords, I've checked my axes. I didn't look at hammers yet, but that would be ridiculous. So more questions than answers about this girl. But you guys let me know what you think of counter now that we actually have an idea of how often it procs. Yeah, it is light guard. Maybe, just maybe, they need to change some of this gear, or at least give us a chance to get other gear that can make counter feasible and actually worth it. So, I'll talk to you guys after I try this stuff out on a boss, because she is supposed to have special counters against bosses. So we will have to see. I will talk to you all soon. Best of luck to everybody. Later.